There is a moment in late winter when the garden looks defeated. Soil sealed under a cold crust, life suspended. Yet beneath that quiet surface, something electrifying begins the instant snow starts to melt. It's the kind of secret every gardener on Crop Corner should know, because this natural pulse of moisture doesn't just wet the soil, it flips the switch on dormant microbes, setting the stage for one of the most powerful garden revivals of the year. If you've ever wondered why early spring soils suddenly smell richer and feel more alive, or why certain gardens burst into growth faster than others, that story begins with snowmelt. Once the introduction ends, it's time to move straight into practical experience-backed wisdom you can use right now, especially if you live where winter moisture lingers. Understanding how snowmelt activates the microbiology beneath your feet will change the way you manage your garden long before the planting season arrives. For gardeners who treat winter as downtime, this guide reveals why those quiet months are actually one of the best opportunities to prepare your soil for extraordinary results. Why melting snow wakes up dormant microbes. During winter, soil microbes don't die. They slow down dramatically, slipping into a low-energy state where activity nearly halts. As the snow melts, the first gift it brings is moisture, steady, cold, and deeply penetrating. Unlike rain, snow melts gradually, which means the water infiltrates soil rather than running off. That deep hydration rehydrates microorganisms, allowing them to repair cells, resume breathing processes, and begin feeding again. The meltwater also carries dissolved oxygen, which is crucial for beneficial aerobic microbes. This early season reactivation matters because when microbes wake, they begin breaking down organic matter that accumulated in fall. They start producing enzymes, unlocking nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, and sulfur. This boost begins long before the first warm day, giving your spring garden a major head start. Snowmelt essentially restarts nature's engine, signaling microbes that it's time to rebuild soil fertility from the ground up. One of the lesser-known benefits of snowmelt is the mini-composting effect it creates. When dormant microbes wake in cold, wet soil, they begin digesting fall leaves, mulch, dead root fibers, and leftover plant debris. Even though winter temperatures remain low, the steady moisture encourages slow, steady decomposition. This means by early spring, your soil has already undergone weeks of microbial processing, which releases small but important amounts of plant-available nutrients. This natural winter composting is subtle but powerful. It prevents nutrients from being locked away in undecomposed organic matter, improves soil texture, opens up compacted zones, and increases humus formation. In gardens where organic matter is scarce, snowmelt becomes the ignition that ensures spring planting doesn't begin in biologically stagnant soil. When microbes wake early, plant roots, especially perennials, shrubs, and overwintering vegetables, benefit immediately. Root systems don't wait for warm weather to grow. Many species start rooting as soon as the soil thaws. Active microbes produce natural growth hormones, vitamins, and compounds that help roots resist disease and stress. They also release nutrients in a gentle, slow-release form, giving early root growth the perfect environment to strengthen before the intensity of the growing season arrives. Gardeners who pay attention to winter moisture cycles often notice stronger spring sprouts, thicker stems, richer green foliage, and improved flowering later on. That's really the invisible work of microbes, triggered simply by melting snow. How to use snowmelt to boost your garden's microbial revival. Instead of waiting for snowmelt to happen on its own, you can actually take steps to enhance and direct its benefits. One of the easiest strategies is spreading a thin layer of compost, about 1 inch, on your garden beds before the heaviest snow arrives. As the snow melts, it carries compost-rich nutrients and living microorganisms deep into the soil profile. This is especially effective in beds that struggle with poor structure. Another method is applying a diluted microbial inoculant in early winter or immediately after a thaw. An effective recipe is mixing 1 cup of liquid microbial inoculant with 2 gallons of water. Pour this evenly over 10 square feet of soil before the next snowfall. As the snow settles and later melts, it distributes the microbes gradually, giving them insulation and moisture so they survive long enough to integrate into your soil's ecosystem. If you rely on mulch, winter is a perfect time to top dress. Snowmelt passing through wood chips or shredded leaves extracts beneficial compounds, feeding fungi and bacteria below. The meltwater essentially transforms your mulch into a nutrient tea that drips slowly into the soil, waking and feeding microbes all winter. Why freeze-thaw cycles help microbial populations multiply? When soil freezes, water trapped inside expands, breaking apart tiny soil aggregates. As it thaws, those broken surfaces create new pockets where microbes can colonize. The repeated freezing and thawing acts like gentle tilling without disrupting soil structure. This natural aeration improves oxygen flow, allowing beneficial aerobic microbes to multiply more easily. These small shifts can dramatically increase microbial biomass by early spring. In fact, the first microbial explosion of the year often occurs before temperatures are warm enough for any visible plant growth. The key is recognizing that winter isn't damaging the soil, it's actually preparing it. So, how can gardeners prepare soil now for maximum winter revival? Gardens that benefit most from snowmelt are really the ones with enough organic matter. If your soil is sandy, low in carbon, or just compacted, snowmelt may drain too quickly to foster strong microbial activity. Before the freeze arrives next year, aim to work in at least 2 inches of compost. This helps hold moisture, store nutrients, and provide food for microbial communities as they wake up. You can also enrich microbial life by applying a simple homemade winter soil activator. Just mix 1 tablespoon of unsulfured molasses in 1 gallon of warm water until it's fully dissolved. After it cools, pour it directly onto the soil during a mild winter day or right before snow. The molasses acts as a carbohydrate source, giving cold-tolerant microbes a burst of energy that really enhances their recovery once the snow begins melting. Snowmelt and spring planting success really go hand in hand. Many gardeners, tend to underestimate just how much early-season microbial activity determines the success of spring planting. When microbes have time to rebuild their populations through winter, they're all set to support crops the very moment seeds hit the soil. This can honestly radically improve germination rates, seedling strength, nutrient availability, and overall plant health throughout the year. Early microbial revival also reduces the risk of soil-borne pathogens dominating cold soil. Beneficial microbes create competition, forming a protective shield around roots even when temperatures remain chilly. The more active your soil is during snowmelt, the healthier your garden will be from the very first planting. Winter may look quiet, but beneath the melting snow, your soil is waking, breathing, digesting, and preparing for the year ahead. Understanding how snowmelt fuels this transformation gives you a powerful advantage. It turns winter into an active season of soil building, microbial revival, and nutrient unlocking. Take the time to work with this natural cycle, and your garden will reward you with stronger roots, richer soil, and a vibrant start to spring that feels almost effortless. If you found this guide valuable, make sure to subscribe to Crop Corner and share this video with your fellow gardeners. Let's grow smarter, healthier gardens together, season after season.